Listen close, because this one's a slow burn that explodes in your chest. If you've ever chased a dream only to watch it slip through your fingers, today's story hits different. We're cracking open the Mac McClung Paradox, the 6'2" dynamo from Gate City, Virginia, who's conquered the G League like a king, owned All-Star Weekend like it's his personal playground, and still can't lock down an NBA roster spot for more than a hot minute. This isn't just about a guy who dunks like gravity is optional. It's about a league that celebrates fireworks, but demands fitting the mold. Too explosive for the minors, too small for the majors. And as of this month, waived by the Pacers after just 3 games and now back with the Windy City Bulls. McClung's the athlete who makes you believe in underdogs, until the NBA reminds you why they stay down. He's got the hops, the handles, the heart, but the paradox? It's the cold math of a league where size trumps spectacle, and fit overrides flair. Does Mac deserve a real shot, or is this the brutal truth of NBA Darwinism? To understand the paradox, you gotta start where it all ignited. Gate City, Virginia, a speck of a town with 2,000 souls and Friday nights lit by high school hoops. That's where a skinny kid named Mac McClung first made the world blink twice. It's March 2017, VHSL Class 2A State Championship. Gate City's never won one. Across from them, Staunton's Robert E. Lee. That's when Mac just turns into a myth. 47 points, 21 of 26 from the floor, 5 of 6 from 3, 17 of 18 at the line. Final score, 80-65. Gate City's first ever state title, and Mac just erased JJ Redick's name from the record books. That whole senior year, he averaged 50 a night. 50. His career total, 2,801 points, another all-time Virginia high school record. Back-to-back Southwest Virginia Player of the Year. Every mixtape clip that dropped on Ball Is Life or Overtime got 1 million views overnight. People started driving hours just to watch him warm up. You've got this pale, wiry, 6'2", 170-pound kid with a mop of hair floating above the rim like gravity owes him money, hitting step-back threes like he's bored, and the entire state is screaming his name. Scouts are scribbling, explosive, fearless, can't teach that bounce. But then, in the same breath, they whisper the line that's followed him ever since. Yeah, but he's only 6'2". That whisper became the soundtrack. It followed him to Georgetown and Texas Tech and was waiting for him on draft night in 2021. Because from the very first bucket in that packed Gate City gym, the paradox was already alive. The kid was too good to ignore, and apparently too small to trust. He arrives at Georgetown as a consensus 3-star recruit, and in his freshman season, he delivers 10.6 points, 2.8 assists, Big East All-Freshman honors. Steady, not seismic. Transfers to Texas Tech for junior year, 15.5 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists on 45% shooting, second team All Big 12. Leaves with eligibility on the table, enters the 2021 NBA draft. Undrafted. No calls. The Lakers snag him as an undrafted free agent, but waive him days later. Straight to the South Bay Lakers in the G League. It's the first crack in the dream. But Mac? He doesn't shatter, he sharpens. Then comes the 2021-22 season, and Mac doesn't just show up, he announces himself. He averages 20.6 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 4.1 assists on 48% shooting, running the offense like a veteran, finishing at the rim like the laws of physics don't apply, and earning G League Rookie of the Year in a landslide. For the first time since those Gate City nights, the world is watching again, whispering the same thing Virginia used to scream. This kid is special. The Bulls reward him with a 10-day contract, 3 games, 12 total minutes, 3 points. And just like that, the door closes again. Waived, back to the G League. That's when the pattern starts carving itself into stone. Absolute brilliance downstairs, barely a footnote upstairs. The same kid who looked unstoppable in South Bay suddenly looks unplayable in Chicago. The same explosiveness that breaks ankles in the G League somehow disappears the second he checks into an NBA arena. And the cruelest part? Nobody's really arguing he played poorly in those 12 minutes. They're just arguing there's no room for a 6'2" spark plug when every team is hunting 6'8" switchable wings. Fast forward to 2022-23, and Mac lands with the Delaware Bluecoats, Philly's G League affiliate. He doesn't just play there, he dominates. 18.9 points a night, slicing through defenses, leading the squad all the way to a championship. For a brief, shining moment, it feels like the league is finally catching up to what Gate City knew years ago. Then, the Sixers call him up. 2 games, real NBA minutes, and in the season finale against Brooklyn, he damn near stuffs a triple-double. 20 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 36% from 3 in 20.5 minutes per night. That's a statement. For one weekend, the Paradox feels like it might actually crack open. Summer comes, Philly brings him back on an Exhibit 10. Hope flickers, then waived. He signs a 2-way with the Lakers. 2 games, 0 points, waived again. Golden State invites him to Summer League. Looks electric. Waived before training camp. Then 2023-24 rolls around and Orlando gives him a 2-way lifeline. Down in the G League with the Osceola Magic, Mac turns into a one-man wrecking crew. 25.2 points, 6.4 assists, 4.3 rebounds, and a smooth 39% from 3. He's not just the best player in the league, he's the MVP. First team All-NBA G League, the whole trophy case. Upstairs with the Magic, 2 games, 5 total minutes, 0 points. The door creaks open, then slams shut again. But then comes All-Star Weekend, and everything changes. At least for one night. Mac McClung, still a G Leaguer, becomes the first ever to compete in the dunk contest. And he doesn't just win, he owns it. Perfect 50s across the board. The arena loses its mind. Jaws hit the floor. 2024, he comes back and does it again. Back-to-back champ. 2025, he completes the three-peat, becoming the first player in history to win 3 consecutive dunk contests. 4 perfect 50s in one night. He jumps over Ikea, channeling Blake Griffin in 2011. Then he soars over 6'11" Evan Mobley for a double pump that makes the judges leap out of their seats. ESPN's Michael C. Wright writes the line that echoes everywhere. McClung dialed up retro moves, the only player to win 3 straight. And yet, the very next week, he's back in Osceola, dropping 25.7 points on 50.9% shooting, 39.6% from 3, with 4.7 rebounds, 6.6 assists, and 1.3 steals. 8 30-point games in 27 outings. Then, in the G League Finals, he drops 42 to seal the championship and walks off with Finals MVP. That's the cruelest cut of all. In the span of a month, he's crowned the greatest dunker ever, leads the G League in scoring, wins another title, and still can't buy an NBA minute. The league throws him a parade on Sunday night and a waiver wire ticket on Monday morning. The Paradox isn't just alive, it's screaming. This season, 2025-26, starts with a glimmer of what might finally be the break Mac's been chasing. But it unravels faster than anyone could have scripted. Back in July, Orlando pulls the qualifying offer on his 2-way deal, leaving him as an unrestricted free agent for the first time. The summer's a blur of workouts, whispers, and waiting. Then, October 17th hits. The Bulls, his original NBA home, sign him to a training camp invite. Hope sparks. But 3 hours later, 3 hours, they waive him outright to make room for rookie Trenton Flowers. Enter the Pacers on October 27th. Desperate and decimated, they ink him to a 2-year, $4.87 million standard contract, his first ever fully guaranteed NBA deal. No 2-way strings, no 10-day expiration. This isn't charity. Indy's backcourt is a war zone. Tyrese Halliburton tore his right Achilles in that heartbreaker against OKC, out for the entire season. TJ McConnell, the gritty backup who's been a fan favorite, is sidelined with a hamstring strain. Andrew Nembhard's nursing a wrist tweak. The Pacers, fresh off a finals run, are scrambling for any guard who can push tempo and create in chaos. Mac looks like the perfect band-aid, explosive, fearless, and finally with a real shot to prove it. His debut comes October 29th, a nationally televised opener against the Mavericks. 13 minutes off the bench, 7 points on efficient shooting, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block, and that signature bounce terrorizing switches. He hits 1 of 3 from deep, flashing the pull-up that torched G League defenses. It's not a takeover, but it's a tease. Hustle that turns heads, energy that fits Rick Carlisle's motion offense like a glove. Over the next 2 games, he averages 6.3 points, 1.3 rebounds, and 0.3 assists in 11.3 minutes per night. The scoring's modest, sure, but those peripherals pop. 1.7 steals and 0.3 blocks per game, snatching balls and swatting layups like he's still in a dunk contest. The flashes are there. The quick first step, no-look dishes, the 6'2" frame somehow contesting 6'8" wings. For 3 nights, it feels like the paradox might finally bend. Then, November 6th drops like a guillotine. Waived. Again. The Pacers pivot to veteran Monte Morris, a 30-year-old steady hand with 8 years of playoff reps, signing him to a non-guaranteed 1-year deal for stability, as ESPN's Shams Charania breaks it. Morris, fresh off a calf injury that sidelined him through camp, brings the poise Indy craves, 4.8 points and 2.5 assists last season in Phoenix. Mac, his non-guaranteed contract leaves the Pacers with a measly $164,000 cap hit for the year, a rounding error that they shrug off. No hard feelings, they say, but it lands like a betrayal. 3 games, 34 total minutes, the first standard deal of his career, inked amid Indy's darkest hour, and it's over before November's halfway gone. As of now, Mac's back where the league keeps shoving him, the Windy City Bulls, Chicago's G League affiliate. He's already shaking off the rust, averaging 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists through the early games, dissecting defenses with the same surgical scoring that made him MVP material. Zoom out, and the chasm yawns wider than ever. NBA career, 9 games, 78 total minutes, 5.8 points on 41.3% shooting. Barely a footnote. A collection of what-ifs scattered across 5 franchises. G League ledger, a masterpiece. 20 points, 5.8 assists, 4 rebounds on 45% from the field across 4 seasons of dominance. That's not a gap, that's a Grand Canyon. The second Mac hits the waiver wire, the entire internet detonates with the same brutal truth. Reddit calls him a 6'2" luxury no contender can afford and a project rebuilding teams won't touch. X screams that he's saved for the dunk contest, while others get handouts. Podcasts label him a defensive liability, an ISO creator forced into an off-ball role, and the ultimate proof that the league will always choose fit over fireworks. Everyone sees the injustice in real time. That deafening roar you hear online, that's the paradox finally breaking the sound barrier. At its core, the paradox is brutally simple. Mac is too explosive and skilled for the G League, yet the NBA insists he's missing something it refuses to let him prove. At 6'2", 185 pounds, he gets swallowed on switches and lost behind screens. His 5.8 G League assists per game look dazzling until you realize the league wants elite on-ball creation he's never been trusted to show in his 78 NBA minutes. His defense gets hunted relentlessly. 0.7 steals per game upstairs versus 1.3 downstairs, because his frame can't hide the mismatch. Analysts keep repeating the same verdict. Great shooter, improved passer, but no role that fully offsets the size deficit. Too much dynamite for the minors, not enough switchable length for the majors. That's the cage he can't dunk his way out of. But let's make this paradox even sharper, because there's one name that keeps getting whispered every time Mac's story comes up, and it's time we put them side by side and stare the hypocrisy dead in the face. Nate Robinson. Yeah, 5'9" Crypto Nate, the original human pogo stick, the guy who won 3 dunk contests just like Mac, except his weren't consecutive, and he actually got to play 618 NBA games across 11 seasons. Nate averaged 11 points and 3 assists a night, dropped multiple 40-point games, guarded bigger wings, and even got playoff minutes on a finals team in Boston. First-round pick, real money, real legacy. Mac, taller at 6'2", Longer, probably a higher vertical, 46 to 48 inches rumored. Better shooter, better passer, and yet Nate got a decade. Mac can't even get 10 games. Look at the tail of the tape. Nate's best season was 17.2 points per game with the 2008-09 Knicks. Mac averages 23 to 25 in the G League on noticeably higher efficiency. Nate's career true shooting sat at 52.8%. Mac's routinely climbs to 62 to 64% downstairs. Nate was scrappy and strong enough to survive switches and guard bigger wings for stretches. The moment Mac steps on an NBA floor, he's hunted like it's open season on 6'2" guards. Same archetype, wildly different outcomes. But here's the part that's indisputable. The era did the hunting. Nate played in the mid-2000s to mid-2010s. Slower pace, less spacing, fewer switch-everything schemes. You could hide a 5'9" bulldog for stretches. In 2025, the league is 6'6" wings and 7-footers who dribble and shoot threes. Every possession is a pick-and-roll death trap for small guards. Nate in today's game probably gets the same unplayable label Mac's wearing. Nate proved a tiny, explosive dunk contest winning guard could carve out a real NBA career. Mac is literally a taller, more skilled version of that prototype, and the league decided the prototype is now extinct. That's not Mac's failing. That's the NBA moving the goalposts and pretending the old blueprint never existed. Nate got to be the exception. Mac is being told there are no more exceptions allowed. And that, right there, is the coldest slice of the Mac McClung Paradox. He didn't get worse than Nate, the league just got taller, faster, and a hell of a lot less forgiving. Yet the real gut punch is the emotion. This is the underdog story we all claim to love. The kid who turned down Fenerbahce millions and Shanghai Sharks security just to keep chasing NBA scraps. In a 2025 SB Nation sit-down, he said it plain. You can do actions out of fear, out of failure, out of ego. I try to act out of love as much as I can. After the Pacers cut, he told The Athletic, "It's been quite a roller coaster. I just try to embrace that it's my journey, and I'm very grateful." That quiet defiance hits like a freight train. Because it's us. Every dreamer, grinding, while the world scrolls past. So why the endless carousel? Because in today's NBA, 6'2" is a death sentence in a 6'6" world. Defenses feast on him in every mismatch, and the role he dominates as a G League alpha shrinks to a meaningless pawn upstairs. Yet the talent is screaming. 45% from the field, 33% from 3 in the G League, that 29-9 near triple in Philly, the 1.7 steals he flashed in 11 indie minutes. Keep him, and he's the exact bench spark a finals hangover team needs. Instead, they chose stability. The toll is brutal. The league holds up a mirror and sees only talent versus fit, and fit always wins. Mac raises the G League to heights it's never seen, while the NBA hoards safe, tall, switchable wings. It's heart-wrenching. The kid who burned every overseas lifeboat to bet on the dream, who told Indy Star faith paid off the day he signed, only to watch that faith get cut 9 days later. We followed the arc from Gate City to the three-peat throne, from explosions to evictions, and the verdict is clear. Mac McClung isn't defeated. He's the living proof the league drew the line at 6'3", and pretends the game above it is the only one that matters. Is Mac NBA ready and the league's just scared? Or did size finally become the unbreakable wall? Hype machine or hidden gem? Overlooked savior or the latest victim of the new blueprint? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and smash that like button if you're riding with Gate City's son.